Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. As today we got another episode reviewing NHL teams off-season so far. As today we're going to be talking about the New York Rangers and take a look at their alright off-season. They did get Trocheck, but is it really a big improvement to the team this upcoming season? We got a lot of big questions to answer here with the New York Rangers, but before we step into this one, I'd like to just say if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. So let's get into this bad boy here with the New York Rangers, as they made some pretty big moves. You know, they picked up Vincent Trocheck, replacing their guy in Ryan Strome, and otherwise they really didn't do a whole lot else. Their biggest concern, you know, last season was how they played 5-on-5 offense-wise, and now they got carried, you know, by their power play majority of the season, and really, I don't see a massive improvement on their 5-on-5 game. You know, yeah, you signed Vincent Trocheck, but the guy is, you know, alright 5-on-5. You know, he's an alright guy, but is it really worth it locking him up for the next, what, 7 years at a $5.625 million deal? I mean, the AAV is not terrible, but the length of the deal could have been a lot shorter, and you're not paying him until 34, 35 years of age, or actually it would be 35, 36 years of age for Vincent Trocheck, which is just absolutely crazy. I think that's a little too long for the guy. Especially when you have Phil Cheadle and some other guys that are going to be coming up the pipeline. So let's get into talking about everything that happened. We'll get into the two first deals right off the get-go, because these are the deals that kind of happened before we got into the draft day, which the very first deal was trading away Alexander Georgiev, which they just weren't going to be able to afford him. It's the reason why they brought in Yaroslav Halak. And they got back some good picks, a third, fifth, and a third out of a struggling goalie that wasn't really doing well over the past, you know, few years for you. You trade them away and you get a decent bulk back, and you know, the two prospects that you did get were pretty good as well. So quite honestly, a really good deal here by Chris Drury. I really like the move, trading away Georgiev, picking up some picks. Really good move. Then they were able to get Nemeth's kind of horrible contract out of the way, dumping off a second and a third, but honestly, you kind of got that back in that Georgiev trade anyways, and you got a prospect that hasn't been performing very well in Tyne Emberson there as well. So we'll jump right into the draft day, which honestly, the draft day there for the Rangers was pretty good as well. Adam Sekera was a pretty good prospect, played really well in the Slovak League this past year. Had 17 points in 46 games, didn't do too bad, played not too bad in the Olinka, and played, I think, a little bit in the World Juniors as well, but not a big point producer. Bryce, really good offensive producer there, played for the Greyhounds there. Really good playmaker, really good offensive guy for the future there for the New York Rangers. Maxim Barbashev as well was also another good pick. So an alright draft here for the New York Rangers. No big top 10 picks, but they were able to pick up some extra picks with the third round pick with McNell and the Barbashev pick. So honestly, end up being not a bad draft here for the Rangers. Definitely not what it was compared to last year, when you got Ryder Korzak and also Brennan Hoffman, who I think Brennan Hoffman will be a pretty good prospect here in the future for the New York Rangers, especially after the World Juniors, looking like a very, very grindy player. Like, he just looks like an absolute goon of a man there for the Rangers. So we'll have to see how he ends up being there for the team. Moving into the signings. They did, you know, a decent amount here for the signings. They got Blay back on a one-year, $1.525 million deal. This was the guy they picked up for Pavel Buchnevich, which was an absolute horrid deal, to say the least. Samuel Blais, all right, he goes out there, hits, doesn't produce a whole lot of points, not amazing 5-on-5 wise, which I think is still a big concern. You know, you're not, like, I'm going to be talking a lot about 5-on-5 just because of the fact that the Rangers are not good at all 5-on-5 wise. I think this is a known fact with just about anyone, that this team is really not that good 5-on-5, and they didn't really do anything to improve upon that fact, that they're still absolutely horrible 5-on-5 wise. And I don't think, you know, Vincent Trocheck's going to change that, which we could get into Vincent Trocheck, who signed a 7-year deal worth $5.625 million. Of course, this is to replace Ryan Strome, who they did lose as well. But you look at their squad, you know, yeah, you have, you know, Panarin, Spinanjad, and Laforain for your top line. But Spinanjad and Panarin have been, you know, very much liabilities 5-on-5 wise. Spinanjad's been all right this year, but still, very much liabilities 5-on-5 wise. Same with Laffy. He got himself going near the end of the season, but can he do that coming into this upcoming season as well? Kreider, Trocheck, Capo Canco can't even really produce very much offense. Playing really well defensively. I think there's still a lot of upside, and with how young he is, I think there's still a lot of upside there with Kako. But Trocheck and Kreider, they're all right 5-on-5 wise, but then you look at the depth, and they didn't do anything depth wise. They added Dryden Hunt and Ryan Carpenter. Those are the only two guys that they were able to add depth wise. But hey, let's sign up fucking Ryan Reeves and Samuel Blake, because that's a really good idea. Let's get guys that can't play defensively, or that can play a little bit of defensively but can't do anything to move the puck around the ice. That's just a really good idea. That's a really good formula to win a cup. We totally don't see it out of the fucking Colorado Avalanche, where they really don't have a whole lot of bad, puck-moving guys in their depth for their forwards. It's not a good-looking depth, to be quite honest with you. I think this is something where they need to improve upon, and they didn't improve upon it at all. And that's just, showing you how, not a great GM Chris Drury kind of is there for the Rangers. They also got Yaroslav Halak to a one-year deal. He's been very inconsistent over the past 2 years, so it's kind of a worrying, pickup. But once again, Shesterkin will probably be playing like a good bulk of the games this year. I bet I'll probably be playing about 60, 70 games this season, and Halak won't get very many this next season. So I don't think it was really a concern getting a backup goalie. But otherwise, yeah, Carpenter, they got back Capo Kakko to a really nice 2-year, $2.1 million deal, which I thought was quite nice as well. So decent signings. The Trocheck signing wasn't abysmal, but signing him to 7 years, I don't think is ideal. Like, what are you going to do with Philip Cheadle next year? Like, you're going to be kind of in a crappy situation where you don't have a whole lot of cap going into next year to be able to lock him up. So, like, what are you going to do? Because most likely I think he's going to have a breakout season, quite honestly, with you going into next year. I think Cheadle, Capo Kakko, and Lafreniere are all going to have pretty good explosive seasons this upcoming season. And they also made Jacob Trouba the captain as well, which I think is a little bit of an outrageous guy to make your captain as well, who can't play very well defensively and is kind of a moron out there on the ice sometimes. But it's not like I hate Trouba. Trouba is still a very good defenseman, just not $8 million worth, that's for damn sure. But you look at the team this year, I don't see them improving. Ryan Strome, Trocheck, I see the same damn player in the both of them. Even Ryan Strome, I would say, was even a little bit better, or actually even better than Vincent Trocheck this past season. You picked up Dryden Hunt, which is okay, and Ryan Carpenter, okay, but like, these are not guys that are gonna change the fold of your team right now. There's not good. I just not a big fan. And then Niels Lundqvist is apparently trying to get traded out of here as well, which I don't understand. Like, I mean, there's no space for him this year when you look at the right-handed side being Schneider, Trouba, and Fox. There's not a whole lot of space for Lundqvist to play. So most likely he's going to be dumped off for nothing, I'm guessing, unless they're going to play the hard hand on him and just not let him go for free. But you're not going to really get very much assets out of the guy, to be quite fair. But yeah, I think I'm going to give this team for the grade this past offseason. I think I'm going to give them, I'm going to have a middle of the pack B-. I think that's what I'm going to, I think I'm going to go with a C+. And the reason why I'm going to go with a C+ is because I think the Vincent Trocheck deal is way too long. It's not going to really help out the team 5-on-5 wise. You definitely need to pick up a little bit more, but I mean, you're signing fucking Blake, Reeves, and Gaudreau, the amount of money that you could probably pick up some better depth guys for the team to make your team way better than those 3-4 bums combined. But they think that grit over, actual skill is going to win them cups, which I really don't believe is going to be that case. I don't think Reeves is going to really help this team, Gaudreau is okay, but I mean, he's mostly defensively. The only guy that's okay is Gaudreau, but locking him up to 3.6 is not ideal. But that was, last year's. But we're talking about this year. Trocheck is okay. The AAV is fine, but too long of a contract. I think, 5 years would have been perfect. Dryden Hunt, okay, doesn't hurt the team to sign him to that cheap of a deal. Blay, I don't know why. I know you traded him for Pavel Buchnevich, but you didn't need to, didn't need to pay him that much, especially after an injured year. I don't know what else to say about this team, but, they could have done a lot better with the signings that they did make. They made signings that just weren't amazing and didn't really help the 5-on-5 play for the New York Rangers. And I think that was definitely the biggest thing they should have focused on this past summer is their 5-on-5. Because power plays, they can work for a certain amount of time, but when they stop being hot, your team just kind of dwindles, because if you don't have that 5-on-5 play going, you don't have something to fall back on. So that's my whole spiel. Tell me guys in the comment section below what you guys thought of the New York Rangers offseason, and I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.